What is the stupidest thing you've heard someone say that they were 100 serious about? In grade 6 my class read a poem about ptarmigans where every word starting with T was changed to pt. The teacher said that ptarmigans were a made-up animal. I countered that they were a type of Arctic bird, so he sent me to the school library to find evidence. I came back with an encyclopedia turned to the entry for ptarmigan and he read it out to the class and told everyone that teachers don't know everything and they should never be afraid to speak up. One of the best teachers I ever had, thanks Mr. Murphy. In college my teaching assistant in my dinosaurs class insisted that roadrunners weren't real and laughed at me for suggesting it as an answer for a bird that runs fast. But the real dummy was me because I've seen one in real life and I still said oh oak.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
I was stationed in Germany in the late October 2nd, 2024. Every Thanksgiving multiple dudes would be perplexed as to why the Germans didn't celebrate. A dude once told me he was excited to celebrate the 4th with the Germans and asked if they did fireworks. I love you my brothers, but some of you are dumb. At one of my first jobs as a graphic designer, a client called me into his office and pulled up a photo he took. He then asked me if I could turn it around. No, not rotate it, but turn the viewpoint around. He wanted to see what was behind the camera when he originally took the photo. God, I have so many stories from that job. Maybe too obscure, but anyway, I was the radiation safety office for our lab group many years ago and was telling one of our more truly brilliant, not being sarcastic, that his badge came up hot, meaning his technique was bad and he was going to have to be retrained, and he said, "It doesn't affect me. I'm done having my children like being careless with radioactive isotopes can only affect your gonads and not, it could give you fucking cancer." I don't know how you can stand to fly when there's a 50% chance the plane will crash. Me, blank stare you know, because either it crashes or it doesn't. 5050. Please stop replying to tell me she was joking and I just didn't get it. It's lovely that you all think people this dumb don't exist, but I assure you they do. My sister's friend after meeting my fianc for the first time, where is she from? Me, she was born here in the States but she's Cambodian. Oh my god. You can't be with her, they eat people. Me, long blank stare, think you're thinking of cannibals. Long blank stare, what's the difference? Same woman was shocked to find out we believed in space. As in the planets and stars and galaxies. She thought half the sky was light and half the sky was dark, and the planet spinning inside the atmosphere is why we had night and day, and that there was nothing else out there. My father, dumbest person I've ever met. I have so many more stories about her. She worked for a collections agency for a short time and initially had some of the highest percentages of successful repayment plans set up until the complaints started pouring in. She was threatening people with going to their houses to fight them or belittling people for being pathetic because they had debts they weren't paying. When she was called into a meeting with the bosses and HR and her calls were played back as reasons for her being let go, she was asked why she would do that when at the beginning of every call it was stated that the calls were being recorded for quality control. She said she thought that was just something they had to say because the company saw it in the movies and wanted to sound the same, but since there wasn't a camera filming her, it wasn't real. Someone I know argued with me that I do not live anywhere near Canada. He got pretty nasty about it too. When I showed him proof, he said, "Well, I only know Texas. I live right outside of Detroit, Michigan. Closer to Canada than I am to any other state." I have also had a few people argue with me that I do not live in the Eastern time zone. I guess they know better than someone who actually lives here. I was going 30 in a 30. Police officer pulled me over and claimed I was going 50. The dashcam footage of the police officer showed that the officer was going 40 to close the distance and pull me over. Some genius on Facebook said, if you would go 30, then why did the officer have to go 40 to catch up? I'm like, if by some bizarre circumstance that you're actually being serious here, you have to go faster than whatever it is you're following in order to catch up.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
His exact words were, "No, I don't believe in gravity. It's just weight. Things weigh different amounts fall at different speeds." Then I dropped a sledgehammer and a file at the same time to show that they bought at the same speed, and he said, "Well, you dropped them at different times." So I made him do it, and then when he did it and again they landed at the same time. He said, "All right, you might be on to something there." When I was in Germany on a rotation, they actually put on an incredible fireworks display for us. So did the Afghans. Used flares from their little lookout thingies around the fort when I was deployed. I was astonished and then extremely touched in both scenarios. I work for a cell phone company and someone seriously thought that the towers were causing and distributing COVID. I was extremely surprised that once I explained cell phone towers aren't creating extremely specific biological matter and distributing them through radio waves to your face, they actually understood how crazy that sounded. When I was a kid and on and off when I was older, until after it was decommissioned, my dad worked at a nuclear power plant. I was mentioning this to a college-aged coworker at one point. I think I was telling a story about take your daughter to work day or something, and coworker stops me. "Wait, those are really real." I stopped talking, at a loss for words. I then had her repeat what she wanted to know. Nuclear power plants are actually real things. I thought they were made up for, like The Simpsons. Oof, this just reminded me of when my 6th grade English class held a spelling bee, and one of the words I got was Pampers, except when I asked the teacher for a definition, she said acting all high and mighty. So of course I spelled POMPOUS, and she told me it was wrong and that I was eliminated from this round, and read the correct spelling. I was so furious that I went and grabbed a dictionary, found the entry for Pampers, and literally slammed it down on the teacher's desk. I got detention for that, and she didn't even let me re-enter the spelling bee. A guy I work with said that a football referee runs over the distance of a marathon during a game. I pointed out that a football game was only 90 minutes long and that the marathon record was just over 2 hours, so that would be impossible. He said it was possible because a football referee changes direction a lot during a game, and it all adds up. My kids thought all meat, pork, beef, chicken, turkey, duck was meat. Animals lived on farms and had nothing to do with meat. Meat was sometimes called chicken or beef depending on how it was cooked. You cook meat into beef teriyaki or into chicken parmesan. I was helping one take their chicken off the bones one and was asked, why do they even put bones in meat anyway? And I gently explained that we're eating dead animals. 2 kids cried. The other one squealed, "Dead animals taste awesome." I once corrected my 2nd grade teacher, and she told me that true or not, adults were always right and children should never correct them. I went home and told my mum, and she told me that my teacher was wrong. Which really kinda messed with my head. Germans fucking love fireworks. I've been living in Germany a bit over a year, and this past New Year's was my first time witnessing the shitty Germans reserve for blowing up the sky. For reference, I live in a tiny town. Started at 6 p.m. By 8 p.m., the sky was almost continuously exploding. At 11 p.m. it calmed down a tiny bit, until midnight. At midnight everything went insane, and it was pretty much a solid hour of explosions from every single corner of my town. This went on until 3 a.m. I'm just glad I wasn't in Berlin. It straight up turns into a war zone for the entire night. People firing fireworks at each other with blank firing pistols and so on. Total chaos. I highly recommend looking up some videos. It's completely absurd. Years ago I was in a grocery store with my dad, who is a very loud anti-PC, anti-woke type. We were next to one of those waist-high chest freezers, and my dad got his cart slightly stuck on one of the bumper rails for a second. He starts going off about how dumb it is that dumb liberals make stores put in these stupid poles around the freezers just so midgets can stand on them to look in the freezer. Me and my sister both stared at him for what felt like a solid minute before realizing he was dead us serious, before explaining that the rails were actually to prevent people ramming their carts into the freezer, and in fact had nothing to do with little people. We still make fun of him for the midget pole to this day.
Hey guys, do you ever have a problem getting to sleep at night? Well, I've got the magic pill to cure your insomnia. Much like you, I used to twist and turn all night. But then I discovered that you can take melatonin and Valerian Root together to get a good night's sleep every single night. I've been taking it every night by for years and years. I've been taking Valerian and melatonin, and this is my life hack to get a good night's sleep and vivid dreams every night. So be sure to click my affiliate links, and I will give you the gift of a good night's sleep.
In grade 6, my class read a poem about ptarmigans where every word starting with T was changed to pt. The teacher said that ptarmigans were a made-up animal. I countered that they were a type of Arctic bird, so he sent me to the school library to find evidence. I came back with an encyclopedia turned to the entry for ptarmigan, and he read it out to the class and told everyone that teachers don't know everything and they should never be afraid to speak up. One of the best teachers I ever had, thanks Mr. Murphy. In college, my teaching assistant in my dinosaurs class insisted that roadrunners weren't real and laughed at me for suggesting it as an answer for a bird that runs fast. But the real dummy was me, because I'd seen one in real life and I still said oak. I was stationed in Germany in the late October 2nd, 2024. Every Thanksgiving multiple dudes would be perplexed as to why the Germans didn't celebrate. A dude once told me he was excited to celebrate the 4th with the Germans and asked if they did fireworks. I love you, my brothers, but some of you are dumb. At one of my first jobs as a graphic designer, a client called me into his office and pulled up a photo he took. He then asked me if I could turn it around. No, not rotate it, but turn the viewpoint around. He wanted to see what was behind the camera when he originally took the photo. God, I have so many stories from that job. Maybe too obscure, but anyway, I was the radiation safety office for our lab group many years ago and was telling one of our more truly brilliant, not being sarcastic, that his badge came up hot, meaning his technique was bad and he was going to have to be retrained, and he said, "It doesn't affect me. I'm done having my children. Like being careless with radioactive isotopes can only affect your gonads and not it give you fucking cancer."
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are two schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass. if the can has this jagged metal edge. I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food and going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.